What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Party people, it's your boy, Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals, giving y'all the best knowledge when it comes to everything youth baseball, but we're going to get into the softball side now, too, and also helping kids get into schools from around the country. But listen, man, I mean, this was supposed to happen yesterday. A little scheduling change, little things happen, all right? But I'm super excited to have Savannah McHellon, assistant head coach of Alabama State University down there in Montgomery, Alabama. All right, we be doing the softball style. All right, we're gonna get to the softball talk over here. So, Savannah, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. We're able to get out on the field today, so I'm super excited. I'm doing well. This past semester we weren't able to do anything just because of following protocols with Corona and everything. So I'm ready to go. I'm pumped.
Good deal, good deal. So, all right, I always have my guests start from the beginning all the way through to obviously getting to where you are now as the assistant coach at the Alabama State. All right, so tell me a little background. Where you from? Playing career to where you are now.
Okay, yeah, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I started playing softball when I was 8 years old. In Riverdale, Georgia, which is south. It's like south side of Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, whatever you want to consider it. I just call it the South Side. Um, so started playing there. Played through high school. Played travel ball. Gave my parents all types of, traveling weekends, and played my first year of college ball at University of Georgia. Transferred my second year to Northwest Florida in Niceville, which is a junior college, and then ended up playing my last 2 years at Fresno State in Fresno, California.
So, so you go have a. I looked you up. Had a crazy career over there, folks.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm saying? Crazy over there. So what up, Keith? What up, Jansen? What up, Bubba? What up, Rick Rock? All right, Rick Rock. Good to see you on there. I knew I'll see you. It's been a while. We start talking on softball. Here you come. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, yeah. So you had a stellar career at Fresno State. You know what I'm saying? Then the transition into coaching. How quickly did that happen?
It happened quicker than I expected. And I'm going to be honest with you, D. I never knew that I was going to be a coach. I graduated with my degree in mass communications and journalism. I just knew I was going to be talking about all sports, football, baseball, basketball, softball, of course, all of that. Then my mom's been a flight attendant. So I kind of had it in the back of my mind, I could be a flight attendant while I'm young, travel, do all that kind of, all those sorts of things. And then I got a call from Todd Bradley, head coach here now. And he was actually the assistant coach at Fresno State the year that I left. And so he called me up. He said, yeah, I just got the head coaching job. And, I don't know too many people here on this side on the East Coast because he's originally from Oregon. And so I said, well, you called the right person because I love the game. I love to give back. At the time I was working retail. It was like maybe 4 months after I graduated when he called, hit me up about, needing an assistant. And I said, you know what, I'll take it. This sounds like something that I'd love to do. And if I can ever give back any way that I can, this is the way for me to do it. So this is my starting point.
Now, let me get it right. So last year would have technically been your first year, but
Last year was my first year. We didn't get in a full season. We actually got shut down the weekend that we were supposed to have our first conference play. And so I got like a preseason in. So this will be my first full season if it's God willing. So
man, that's so congratulations on your career and to where you are right now. That's super dope. Starting your career. So I want to kind of get into, I'm gonna come from a blind person when it comes to this softball side, and I talked a little bit last year, but I also love the fact that you went junior college. You went to Georgia first because we talk about on the baseball side all the time. What happened at Georgia that made you transfer and then eventually end up at Fresno State?
Well, I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. I feel like you're a type of person you like to keep it real on your show, so we're gonna keep it
Please
State.
do.
So
Please do.
my freshman year, I was one of those people in high school, never did anything, never partied, never got into, any extra activities like that. I was just all softball all the time. So when I got to Georgia, it was a lot for me. It was so many distractions, so much going on every weekend, Athens, Georgia, college town. And I just got caught up and not really being as focused as I should have been. So we felt like it was the best decision for me to leave. And at the time when I decided to leave, it was actually after school had already started. So I ended up actually sitting out a full semester of college, which was that fall semester of 2015. Yeah, so I'm like looking for a school. I'm panicking. I'm like, nobody's gonna take me. This is just a lot. And I was with a lot of adversity. And then I get a call from the junior college in Niceville, like, hey, we want you, and we want to, basically, I don't know if you've seen Last Chance U on Netflix. Yeah, they said, we want to give you a second chance. We want to get you back out there. We know we're not going to keep you forever, but we want to get you back to D1 where you belong. And I said, let's go. Let's do it.
Beautiful.
Right.
So I think I hear that story a lot, but I appreciate you being, super candid like that, man. I'm just over here typing, make sure everybody get their love. I love when the softball set up events. Shout out to Gavin. All my softball people have been asking. I got y'all. I told you I was gonna get y'all. All right.
Yeah,
so
we here.
All right. So anyway, now let's get into this. And now you're coaching Alabama State. Story career. You're still extremely young. I know you got to be able to relate super, like to these girls, because you just removed from where they were. So talk about your coaching style when it comes to, what you're going to be doing and what you have been doing with these girls at Alabama State. Then we're going to get into the actual school and ask you questions about the school.
Okay. Yeah, so as of now, I'm kind of learning that my style is more so of making sure that girls know I'm always in their corner, not just when it comes to being their coach, but being that I'm still so young and I can relate to the things that they're going through on the field, off the field, with their studies, and with just being in college in general. I've had a couple girls tell me that they feel like I'm more of their big sister than their coach. And, I really love that, because I feel like you should have a really close relationship with your players, and it all starts there. I'm a little worried when I get older, they might not be able to say that, but I'm gonna try to hang on to that as much as I can, just really being there for them for whatever they need, not when they just, need help with their curve or their rise, but if they need advice about, how to handle a situation that they're dealing with outside of school.
So I saw you, but you hit and pitch though, right? You know what I'm saying? What do you?
I did.
What's your thing though? Because pitching is, that's a unique thing out there with the softball side.
Right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't a pitcher who hit. I was a hitter who knew how to pitch. And going into college, I really didn't even expect to pitch, but I got to Georgia and they said, oh no, we're gonna utilize you as much as we can. Wow. I think my first big game was against like UNC. And oh my goodness, I probably could have crapped bricks. I was so nervous out there. Really? But I got to college. I was pitching at Georgia, and then I said, you know what? I'm feeling myself right now. Like I could do this. I could keep up with the big dogs. And then of course I got to big too. So it was really nice being able to be on both sides of the ball, because I could think like a hitter when I'm pitching and think like a pitcher when I'm hitting, even though I wouldn't really want to think much at all. I'll just go out there and play. That's right. It was really cool. It was really cool. I like that I was able to do that.
Dope. So, I mean, I like that. That's versatile. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna ask these questions too. So, tell me a little bit about, now you're at Alabama State. Tell me a little bit where Alabama State is located. I talked about it a little bit, but and give me a little background on the actual program. The conference. Guys play at.
So ASU, Alabama State, is located in Montgomery, Alabama. Very historic. We have a whole legacy museum under the Equal Justice Initiative that Brian Cox started. He's a famous lawyer. I don't know if you've seen the movie Just Mercy. Oh my goodness!
Recently, the one with Jamie. That's not the one.
The one with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah.
That's based on that famous lawyer getting him through that sentence that he was given for, I guess he was falsely committed or something like that. But I mean, it was a tearjerker. You got to see it. But anyway, yeah, so he's actually in Montgomery, Alabama. He's doing so many great things with the EJI, Equal Justice Initiative. And they have a museum that you have to spend at least like maybe 6 or 7 hours just to really walk through and read and find out all of these historical things about what went down in Montgomery and Selma, and you know, just all of human rights and everything. So it's really cool, and I love being here because I'm all about that. I'm from 2 hours up the street, so I had actually gotten offered from Alabama State, but you know what? I will be honest with you, I was so wrapped up in the hype of P5 schools and D1 and all that, this and that. And so I never really got the chance to look into it. And now that I'm here, I'm just so grateful, especially with everything that's transpired over the past year and even way longer than that a lot of people didn't know about. And I'm really excited just to be in the conference itself, being able to play other HBCUs, because I have a lot of friends who attended HBCUs, some who play softball, some just as regular students. And, you know, I attended a predominantly Black school all the way up until my 10th grade year. And then my parents moved me a little further south. So, I mean, all I knew was being around my people. That's all I knew, was embracing our culture and doing all that type of stuff. So I'm really excited just to be able to travel, and hopefully we can still go to Louisiana and, you know, just move around. And because I just love it. I just love being embraced by this culture and being able to do it with sports. So
That's crazy. I understand that fully. So now Alabama State D1 SWAC conference. What are some of the other schools that's in that conference?
So we have Texas Southern. We have Texas Southern. Who else do we have? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm acting like this. I know all these teams. Alabama A&M, Xavier. I don't know if Xavier is in the. I know Bethune just got moved from the MEAC to the SWAC as well. So we have Bethune, and then oh my goodness, you might have to help me out, D.
Yeah, Mississippi Valley State, right?
Mississippi Valley State, Prairie View. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. You said FAM, right?
FAMU, Grambling.
But they're coming over there too. Are they, FAMU. They always been in the SWAC.
I think they just moved over with Bethune.
They're coming over to you guys. Yeah.
You know, we have Grambling as well too.
Right. So no doubt. So great conference. D1. I want to kind of get into this recruiting side of things, and I want to learn from you. I heard these. When does the actual, because, you know, in baseball, you know, it's a big thing now, 14, 15 years old, you know, guys are, you know, getting offers and, you know, coming in. But I heard this. I want to die. I hope you can help me with this. I heard that maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I was digging into the softball thing, and they said by the time you're 16 in softball, you're looked at, if you're not committed by 16, you're looked at as like maybe not as good as where you need to be. Whereas, you know, is that true, or is that myth, or what? You know, tell me.
No, honestly, D, it's like with any other sport. You just have to be able to put yourself in a position where you get that exposure. If you haven't gotten looked at by the time you're 16, then maybe you want to, you know, look at it, picking up with another team. I know you all do that in baseball and travel ball, just picking up with other teams to be able to play up or be able to play in a showcase that maybe your team wasn't able to get into, just stuff like that. And then I know some people like to go to camps, and that's a great way of getting exposure because it's not as many players there. So you get a little one-on-one, and you get looked at a lot closer. But I think by the time you're 16 and you haven't gotten looked at, you just got to put yourself in a little bit better position to get exposure. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I was hearing that. I was like, really? They were like, they were kind of telling me. I was like, okay, I'm learning. So now you get the recruiting. A D1 softball, is it the same as baseball? 11 point, you're allowed up to 11.7 scholarships. So I know different schools may have, but what's the limit in softball, Division I, Division II, and Division III? Up to.
I'm not 100% sure. I want to say it's 9 scholarships, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't count me on that. Okay. And I actually haven't even really gotten to take on that recruiting role because, last summer, we weren't able to do anything. We were shut down. And then this past fall, we normally have camps that we host or that we attend to at other schools. And we're able to look at other girls from, all over the place other than just Montgomery or Alabama in general. So to be honest, I have not gotten any action when it comes to recruiting yet. And it's really killing me because I know where to go. I know who I need to see. But, you can't really do much with it right now.
So now you're a coach now. What's going to be what has Alabama State's base been when it comes to softball as far as recruiting the girls wise, and where is it going? Like, are you coming in there? Are you gonna, obviously you played in the West Coast, played Florida, obviously from Georgia. So what's the base right now for recruiting in Alabama State, and where's it going?
Well, I know in the past, she recruited a lot of girls from everywhere, West Coast, Central Coast. I mean, just everywhere. And I mean, we're not gonna turn away girls who we see in California who are willing to come to Montgomery, willing to come leave that far from home. But I know what we've been doing, and Coach Bradley is doing a great job of trying to, really uplift the game of softball in this area so that we can get more girls who, are here and from Montgomery to get that exposure that they might have not been able to get in the past. So you know what, I personally would love to recruit in the South because I'm from the South Side. I love the South. Nothing wrong with the West Coast. I'll take you. You good. We love you. We're all open arms, but the South Side girls and, the girls who don't really get the looks from all the P5 schools, that's where we like to start.
So speaking of the P5, Power 5, all right. You're saying that they don't get the looks. What are some of the big showcases? And this is why I'm like, I want to be super nosy. Like, that's why I got you on here, because I have different parents and, that into the softball side. But, I'm an up and coming parent. All right. I got a 13, 14-year-old, girl that's a beast out here. And, where, if she's entering high school, where should I be going and thinking about, let's just say I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and where should I be looking into far showcases wise to get the maximum exposure, maybe to some of the teams and stuff? That's what's going on. What should I be doing to get out?
Atlanta has actually done a really great job of hosting. Well, it's not even in the heart of Atlanta. It's kind of like the outskirts. So Marietta, Conyers. There's the Atlanta Legacy Showcase. It's in Marietta. There's a Triple Crown showcase. And this is like yearly. They have it every summer. And it's really big. They get a lot of big coaches to come out there. And I'm looking forward to going out there as a coach when we can, Nice. Yeah, Atlanta Legacy Showcase, Triple Crown. I think there's a Magic City Classic Showcase or something like that. I mean, they have a lot going on. And it's just on the outskirts of Atlanta. If you just Google it, I think a lot of times it's like maybe 3 or 4 that pop up. Those are like the big ones that everybody tries to get into.
Okay. Now, what about different parts of the country that you may know about showcases? Some of the big ones.
Well, I'm gonna take it all the way out to Cali because I was out there for 3 years, so I know about those two. So there's one in Sacramento called Sacktown Showcase. Then there's one I believe in what's this? Goodness gracious, they were talking about it all the time. But when it comes to showcases now, those ones in Atlanta, those are the main ones you hear about. And then I know Birmingham, Alabama has a showcase just about every year. Another city that has showcases, or another state in general that hosts a lot of showcases, Texas. You get a lot of Texas girls from like Texas Bombers and all that good stuff. Those teams are really doing a great job of hosting huge showcases as well.
Okay, cool. Got a couple questions that has come in. All right. How often does it happen that you go to see a particular player and you end up seeing another player that shows up and shows out on that day? Do you see many offers that happen just by a player being at the right place at the right time?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because softball isn't an individual sport. It's a team sport. You have all these girls out here hustling and, busting their butt to be seen and be able to play at the next level. And it never goes unnoticed. We could go see one girl who might be a pitcher. Next thing you know, ground ball gets hit to second base. She makes a diving catch and we're like, who is that? So we're going out of the way to find out her name, where she's from, what year she graduates. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. And that happened even before I was a coach. I was just going to see like my cousin or people I knew just from playing to go watch them play. And I noticed someone else who I end up hearing goes to like Auburn or, and I'm just like, okay, I remember seeing her. I do remember seeing her. So it happens all the
time. All right. Bubba says, so are you able to work with local softball players on the side?
I am able to work with players on the side. I was actually given pitching and hitting lessons before we got started this spring. And then at one point last semester, I know we couldn't really utilize our field as much because they just wanted us to stay off campus as much as we can. But yes, I am able to work with players on the side, giving pitching and hitting lessons.
All right, cool. What do you consider? I mean, is hitting? I know you say you do both. You know, I mean, choked up over here, but is it hitting your thing, or is it more so the? I know you say you do combo, but you know, I gotta ask. You know what I'm saying? I'm nosy because one of my guys on here listening, he's like, Coach, we teach him to do both here in softball. I already know that not every pitcher out there that can pitch. I mean, it can hit. So what are you known for?
Well, since I've been a coach at ASU, I've been focused on pitching because I work with the pitchers every day, bullpens, all of that. I never really get to work with the hitters as much unless I'm out there and I'm done with our bullpens or something. I'll give like a little tip here and there, but for the most part, I work with the pitchers and I love it. I just try to teach them, just to really learn how to work with the rest of the girls because you can feel alone out there being a pitcher sometimes, especially if you get rattled. Say, look, just breathe, just rely on the rest of your teammates. Everything is not in your control. Everything is not in your control. Right. So you just have to do what you can. But honestly, if you would have asked me that a couple of years ago, I'd say hitting. We hit bombs. We jack. That's all we do. That's all we worried about. That's all we care. That's what the people love to see is home runs.
I can see that enthusiasm. I can see that. All right. I can feel it. I can feel it. So, all right. Now I want to get into, you get to there. What's the typical season as far as games played? I want to kind of get to, where the World Series is. I think I know Norman, right? But I want to, hear from you. Like, how many games you guys play? Conferences, championships, and then getting the chance to play. And where is the college, softball World Series played?
So with preseason and conference play, we try to get at least 50 to 55 games in our regular season. That's including the preseason before conference play. And then some schools and some conferences have like conference tournaments. I know as of right now, the SWAC does not have a conference tournament. So I believe just the number one team from the SWAC during the regular season is the one that goes to postseason. And then there's the first weekend. Let's see, what's it called? Oh my goodness. The first weekend is just, I believe, regionals and then semi-regionals.
Super regionals, right?
Something of that. Yes, regionals and super regionals. Thank you for correcting me.
I got you.
So there's regionals and super regionals, and then the World Series is in Oklahoma City.
Okay. See, not Norman. I thought it was Norman. It's Oklahoma City. Okay.
I think baseball is in Norman.
Yeah. You would know. Yeah. I mean, the excitement has been kind of crazy. Like, I mean, I don't know. The last maybe 3 years or so, I caught myself watching a little bit more than usual. College World Series. It seems like it's been super, exciting and dope games. Have you seen like an uptick in as far as participation with young girls? And I know the numbers on the TV had to be going up too, because I like I said, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a brand of ball that's being played or what. It seems like it's been more of a a push to get that attention for softball more, than usual. Am I right with that or what?
You are exactly right, because I think because everybody has always loved baseball. And so now we're in this era where, okay, women empowerment and women doing this and women doing that. And then so a lot of people are jumping on with softball because they see how upbeat and the fast tempo of the pace in the game is. And I think that's what people love most about it. And they're like, wow, these girls are hitting bombs, going back to that. And then, you have baseball players who are like, oh, I can hit that, 65 miles an hour. But not when you're closer and not when the ball is spinning. It's going in an opposite direction of your bat. It's just really different, but it's on the same concept as baseball. And I think that's what people love about softball. Just the fact that women are playing and how fast we're going. And, we just trying to keep up. We want our time.
Yeah, and it's coming. That's why I said it's, and I already know, it was way before you. You was, I don't even know, was so young, but this is, I was working out in Tampa, Florida, and they had this UCLA pitcher there. She was doing lessons and stuff there, and she was like, "D, get in the box, whatever." She threw me a few, and I ain't gonna lie, like I was playing around at first, but then I got real like, all right, I better take it serious, and
right.
The rise of the change up to 2 cents. I was like, yo, this is crazy. It was tough, man. So
let me tell you, did you touch it?
No. I only swung twice. I kind of wanted to see a couple, just be like, and I didn't want to swing wholeheartedly, but she threw me the riser, and I trust me, like I was worried that because we were in tight quarters and she didn't have the L screen,
right.
But I swung one time, and I missed, what I'm saying, I missed it. She threw me a little riser, and I swung underneath it, and I was like, everyone was like, oh, I was like, let me get up out of it before I embarrass myself. So, but yeah, it was.
You're not the only one out there. It's a lot of baseball players I know who try to do that.
No doubt. Right. Giovanni says, how hard do you judge young lefties on slapping? Is it important, or do you look at it as something y'all can teach?
Slapping is definitely something I feel like kind of progresses when you get to college. It's not something, unless you have someone who is instructing your kid or, you're taking those lessons. But when we look at lefty slapping, we look at their speed. That's all. And then if they can do something on defense as well, then we can work with it. We're not looking for her to lay down a perfect bunt right there on the line or right there in front of, we don't look for that. We just look for athleticism when it comes down to it.
All right. Speaking of athleticism, I want to ask this question speed wise, because I talked to one of my boys about because I run these showcases, and Atlanta, I'll have the link up. I'm coming to Peachtree City, Atlanta. We have the link up. Sign up for it. I'm going to be. We have a early special over there, but next week the price is going up. But anyway, I'm going to put the link up a little later. Speaking of showcases, anyway. But now I digress back. But speed. Baseball is 60-yard dash. You get time, a 6.8 or better. The major league average is 6.8. So if you're a plus runner, if you run 6.8 or better, all right. Give me the equivalent. What's a great speed, and how are you guys measuring when it comes to like showcase style on softball? What's a plus runner? You know what I'm saying, speed wise? Do you obviously you don't do a 60 because it's so long. Do you guys do a 20, 40? What do you guys do when it comes to judging speed?
So that's something I never really paid much attention to until I became a coach. And one thing that we actually just did with our girls at practice last week was we got their time from home to home, so all around the bases. And I think Coach Bradley has spoken with someone saying, if you get players who are home to home in about 12 to 13 seconds, and those are going to be your fast girls, those should be the ones who are stealing. So to be honest, that's what I know about speed. Because I'm gonna keep going back to it. I don't know how many times I'm gonna get back to this. I'm all about the home runs and everything. I love speed. I love watching girls fly down the first baseline and all through the bases. But I know that home to home, around 12 to 13 seconds, those are our girls who are gonna have our highest stolen bases.
So what's a good time home to first in softball?
Home to first, a good time is probably like 3 seconds or under that. Don't count me on that now. I haven't really. I'm still trying to learn more about.
I'm being nosy. That's what I'm saying. I want to know these things because this is.
I know.
I'm being super nosy on this thing, but it's okay. It's okay. So all right, let me do this. All right, so high school girls going into college, like your D1 program. So, is it about velo when it comes to the pitching, or how are you judging you're the pitching coach. So what are you looking for? What's a D1 caliber pitcher? Somebody that you're going to be like, oh, I want her, potentially coming to my program.
It is not all about velo, because let me tell you something. If you have the velo, but it doesn't move, it doesn't break. I mean, though the balls that get thrown the hardest can also get hit the hardest and hit the furthest. I'm pretty sure it's the same way in baseball too. It don't matter how hard it's coming. If it's right down the pipe,
right,
yeah, it's over with. So what I look for in our pitchers, I mean, velo is nice. It gets your attention. But I like to see a good demeanor, a good calmness, being able to really control yourself when things get rowdy, just your whole demeanor on the mound. And then, of course, we love breaking pitchers that can spin the ball. I know there was a pitcher at Alabama. I can't even remember her name. I want to say, Sydney Littlejohn was her name, actually. I don't know how I didn't remember, and then I just remembered her whole name. But she probably threw maybe 53, mid 50s, but she could spin the ball so well. Like it could start on one end of the plate and end up on the opposite side. And it was just crazy. But mainly
that's what you call spinning. That's what you call spinning. So baseball, we call it 2-seam, 4-seam straight, little sinker or 2-seam. So you guys call it spinning.
Okay, so we don't really call anything with seams. It's just either the curve ball, the change up, the drop ball, the rise ball. Whenever if it gets halfway and then it breaks, that's something that we would like to have. But when it comes down to it, it's all about your attitude, your demeanor, your calmness, your energy. All of that stuff matters too. It's definitely not all about the velo.
Good deal. So let me get these questions because I gotta answer because I know I'm gonna forget it. All right. Okay. So what's the typical amount of girls that's on the roster for a D1 program? All right. Mm-hmm. Amount of girls that's usually on there. And then I want you to explain kind of like the dissection of the players. All right, maybe we carry 5 pitchers, or we may carry 6 infielders, and so kind of because I know pitching, you guys can pitch every day if it has to. So I want to know that dynamic when it comes to recruiting or filling out a roster. How does that go?
So typically teams keep anywhere from 23 to 28 players on their roster in softball. I know for pitchers, we like to have at least 4 to 5. And with any other position, of course, every coach just wants to have a little bit of depth. So at least 2 girls at each position. And that's how we kind of like to go about it. And having catchers as well, probably anywhere from 2 to 3 catchers. Of course, it'd be nice to have 4, and then catchers that can play other positions, or somebody who can catch, or somebody else who can pitch. Good versatile players, but of course we like to have that depth in every position, of course. But pitching and catching is like one of the 2 positions that you like to have at least 3 to 4.
Great, appreciate that. I'm learning myself. That's what I need. All right. So Eliza says, what do you look for in left-handers since there are so limited in like positions? And shout out to let me first shout out to Eliza. It's the first time I've seen her on, but her dad Rick Rock was one of my first listeners about 2 years ago, and he was always into the baseball side, but I used to always see Eliza on video on Facebook. So shout out to her. This is her first time that I remember, and she got a street stroke out there from California. Yeah, so shout out to Eliza. Got to be about probably 14, 15 now. Yeah, so yeah. So what do you look for in left-handers since they are so limited in like positions?
I think with lefties, they have to know how to not have to do so much when it comes to playing their position. If we're talking about defense, right? Because she said position. So, of course, we like to have. I mean, it would be nice to have a lefty. I've seen a lefty third baseman, and I didn't even notice for a while just because of how smooth she was. So, I mean, I hate to say this because you always want to, of course, you want to be a player who stands out. But when it comes to being a lefty and playing positions, you kind of want to do what you can to kind of blend in, or to make it seem like you're not doing the most because you're limited, and because you're being a lefty, you might have to turn a certain way, or you might take a couple extra steps or take a couple extra turns. So when it comes to lefties, just being able to really make things look smooth. But I hate to say that because to be honest, it don't matter if you're a lefty or a righty. If you can ball, you can ball. We don't,
right.
you know, we're not. There's no higher expectations for lefties or righties. If it's all there, it's all there.
Facts. All right. So, a couple more questions coming in, Savannah. But shout out to my boy Anthony. He's like finally got a softball coach on. So I promise you, for months they've been hounding me getting softball coaches on here. So I'm glad my softball people are coming on here. We're gonna have some more coaches on there, and we're gonna keep this ball rolling. But shout out to my boy Anthony out there on the West Coast doing his thing right there. So ASU, Anthony says ASU. Do you work with Trisha?
Ooh, who's Trisha?
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh. And then watch Miss Trisha come up to me. It might be somebody I know who ain't really spoken too much. Be like, oh, see my name.
It may be you know, Arizona State or something. I don't know. He said ASU. I don't know. He may have got the wrong ASU.
Oh, Trisha Ford. Yeah, she's at Arizona State. She's at Arizona State.
Okay.
Yeah. She was actually a coach at Fresno State before I got there to Fresno State.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Small world. All right. So my boy Chris in Philly says, yeah, Anthony, yeah, Arizona State. Yep. All right. Chris in Philly says, who was the softball player you looked up to and motivated you to get to where you are now?
So Natasha Watley, Michelle Moultrie. Natasha Watley has always been one of the greats. She's just so athletic, and I know growing up, this is a little bit besides softball, but you know, there's always been when it comes to Black girls, it's always been that I hate to put it out there, but to get to what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to go through it. So there's always been that light skin, dark skin thing, and Natasha Watley is a very dark skinned woman, but she's so strong, so athletic, so empowering with her words and her motivational quotes and everything. So I've always looked up to her. Michelle Moultrie was one of my favorites. She played at University of Florida. She was an outfielder. I used to play outfield before I tore my ACL, so I was always trying to be like her. I think I met her one time after one of the Florida games, and I had all the words I wanted to say, and then when I was right there in front of her, it didn't even come out. I couldn't say one word. I was just so starstruck. But yeah, so Natasha Watley and Michelle Moultrie, those are my two favorites growing up.
All right. Ty says, D, let Coach McHellon know when females come on the show so they get promoted. So be ready for some good news. Okay. All right.
What?
Okay. All right. We'll do that next time. You know, we got some female coaches coming on. All right. You know, we have Coach Williams over South Carolina State.
Okay.
Yeah, Tad. We have and then one of my when she went to my high school, I talked with her yesterday. Head coach at Morehead State, Samantha Barnes. She will be coming on. Yeah, so it's gonna be, you know, got a nice little crew, females and mixed, you know, a couple of men coming on too. Maryland's head softball coach will be coming on in a couple of Mondays. Yeah, so it's gonna be super dope. All right. My boy Woody says, I love the pace of softball. Watch it on a regular. Sometimes baseball is like watching paint dry. All right. All right, man. All right, Woody. All right. Ben says under 3 is D1 material. All right, under 3. All right, base running. All right.
Now that's just when the lefties. I think we were talking about the lefties when we were saying the time from home to first.
Right. So was it probably 2/10 slower with the right side? I know in baseball that's kind of the difference makers, like 2/10 slower, from the right side. So so Ty said, all right, we talked about this, but are there showcases for softball?
Plenty. There's plenty of showcases, and a lot of I'm gonna be honest, a lot of college coaches know about the Atlanta legacy, and I'm not just being biased because I'm from Atlanta, of course, but a lot of coaches show up for that Atlanta legacy showcase. It's a really big thing, and they do a really great job of hosting a good showcase every year.
All right, let me ask you this: is it, when they come to showcases, is it teams playing that type of showcase, or is it individual, like workout style showcases?
No, it's set up like tournament play. Teams have to sign up and, you know, do all that, but they're given games and pool play, bracket play, just like a regular tournament. But they know they got eyes on them everywhere.
Do you think that there's a need for like showcase like style, baseball? Like I run my showcases just kind of from a measurable standpoint. Like we get the measurables, the velo, the running. Do they have those type of things in softball? Is it a need? Do you feel like nah or what?
Personally, I've never heard of showcases that where you're able to do more individual work and get those kind of things. But camps, softball camps at schools is where I know that is mostly done. I don't think there's really too many showcases where we're not just playing. But if you go to camps where you have to sign up through the school, through their website and stuff like that, I know that they do a lot of that stuff, and we have too in the past.
All right. Boy Sergio says good stuff, and it is great to see a young lady be in that position talking knowledge about softball. All right. How much of an impact did Shay Knight make for Black females since she was on the big stage?
Oh my goodness, that girl is really something. She is really something. And you know, her even I think I don't know what I love more, her as a person or her as a softball player. I mean, she's such a nice person, so humble, but at the same time, don't try her, okay? Because she knows what she's doing when it comes to softball, and she's so focused. And I think she had a really big impact because she went to University of Oklahoma. If you don't know who Shay is, okay? Yeah, she went to Oklahoma, and I think she was. It was another Black girl who was on there too. She played shortstop, but like I mentioned earlier, she was a lighter complexion. And I know that really, is a whole different topic besides baseball, softball, and sports in general. But it matters, and it's out there. I mean, you'll hear about it. And Shay was just one of those ones, kind of like Natasha Watley, to really step up and be able to, put Black girls on a big stage, a big pedestal. So she's huge. I love her. A huge impact to answer that question. A huge impact.
All right. Ty says, talking about Bianca Smith, she came on the show and then got hired by the MLB. So I think that's one of the messages from earlier when he said, let the coach know when somebody gets promoted so they're ready for some good. Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, every time somebody female-wise comes on the show, big things happen. So Bianca, have you heard about Bianca Smith?
I think I have heard the name before.
Yeah, Bianca just got hired by the Red Sox. A black woman just got hired by the Red Sox.
Really?
To be a coach, yeah. So Bianca was on the show last year, and she brought the house down, man. Super smart, super dope.
When she came on the show, was she coaching softball?
Nah, so she played softball at Dartmouth and also played club baseball at Dartmouth. So she played softball and baseball at Dartmouth. Got all type of 2 master's degree, crazy, but wanted to coach baseball. Right. And so when she came on last year, she was the athletic director at Carroll University, which is Division III in Wisconsin. Okay. But she had always wanted to be in baseball coaching. She was coaching the baseball team at Carroll University too. So so now she just got hired by the Boston Red Sox. So she's been all over the news on the sports side. It happened about a month ago. But but Bianca came on last year, and big things happened for her. So I'm super proud of her. So we'll see. Maybe a couple years from now, you be the head coach, come back on here and talking about what you're doing out here. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, you never know.
That's what's up. All right. So, all right. Let me get here a couple of questions that's come in. Let me get on the right page. Let me get it. I should have had it up. Nope, that ain't it. All right. Well, okay. Cool. Oh snap! Anthony says he said I met her in Fresno. I had the athletic director's daughter on my little league team. She's legit. Boom. Okay, I have no questions. Well, anyway, so you got 23 to 28 on a roster.
Mm-hmm.
I got the breakdown right on these notes now because I want to learn on this thing here with the softball side. So when it comes to I know one of the big issues, I have a young daughter. And she's 13. She doesn't play softball, and she'd be pretty good if she did. She hits in the cages with me sometimes, but she's a tennis player. But I know teenagers, college, you guys go through body changes and especially in high school.
Mhm.
Um, what are some of the, I'm gonna say problems or some of the things that girls go through that are different? Because boys, we go through our issues and stuff too in high school. But do you see a lot of issues with women and their bodies when they're softball players, because usually athletes are really strong mindset, or it's not a real issue or anything like that. Do you ever how does that work when you were playing coming up and maybe recruiting some of these girls that you may feel like have self-confidence issues? They may be really good, but do you find that with girls being
Mhm.
I don't want to sound, sexist or anything like that, but emotional, more emotional than a dude. Do you find like you deal with those type of like body issues and stuff like that?
Yeah, you definitely see it. The one thing about softball is it's not really like basketball. It doesn't require you to run up and down, or soccer. It doesn't require you to run a lot or do as much unless running around the bases or running to catch a ball. But it's really not the same.
Mm-hmm.
I just think when it comes to being a woman in sports in general, outside of sports, the biggest thing in our generation is having the hour figure glass. And it's like we want to focus on that, but when it comes to softball, we want to be strong enough so we can hit the ball hard. So now we're in the weight room, bench pressing, like, okay, now we got these arms. I don't want, it's a lot. It's a lot that us women tend to think of and overthink sometimes. And then of course you have the things that women go through on a monthly basis that can tend to play in, and you just don't even feel like doing anything that day, which I know we still deal with at the college level, because I mean it's something that Mother Nature, you can't really take that away.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to your body and softball girls, I don't see it. I don't see it as much. I think nowadays all we care about is, just like I said earlier, just keeping up with everybody else, keeping up with the boys. So we may not show it, but internally, or maybe, behind closed doors, some girls might try to look like this, but then when it comes to softball, they're going to have to look like this just because they're working out, they're doing all these other things. So it's definitely something that women have to deal with. Not something that we like to show when we're on the field, because we don't like to be taken lightly.
I can hear it. I can hear it, and I love it though. I love it. Me being a girl dad, I understand. So,
Mhm.
all right. Okay, I gotta know this. I don't know. Maybe I can't. I don't know who I gotta. But anyway, I gotta know this. What goes on with the players and coaches when a coach moves from one team to the next and takes a number of players? Prime example: Coach White was at Oregon and now is at Texas, and he took 4 or 5 top players, and those players came in and took other Texas players' spots. Granted, they can play, they can ball, but how does that go over with the team?
Well, I've never had to deal with that as a coach, but I know as a player, and it's funny that they mentioned the Oregon situation, because one of my hitting coach from Fresno State actually went to Oregon, and
Mm,
that's when the coach left to go to Texas and took those top 4 or 5 players with them,
mm,
and they
mm,
struggled. Oregon struggled pretty bad last year because they were missing those key players. So
mm,
it's just all a matter of, like we talked about earlier, having girls, having a good depth chart for each position. I mean, that's the only way you can really prepare for that kind of change. And sometimes it happens unexpectedly. Sometimes it happens like maybe weeks before the season opener. I think that's the only way you can really deal with that. But like I said, I've never dealt with it as being a coach and leaving and seeing how that can affect a team. All I know is just kind of witnessing it.
all right. Ty says, how do we get our black females to use sports to become doctors or in tech where there is demand for blacks? Will you allow students to redshirt so they can get 2 degrees in 5 years and get their masters and become doctors, lawyers, etc., especially since there is no pro softball leagues?
Mhm. Mhm. So, I mean, what we always offer, I know with a lot of schools and a lot of coaches, if there's a player who wants to become a doctor and needs that extra school, you can stick around and be a grad assistant for 2 years, and then that way you can work towards your master's and still be around the game. Um, I know I haven't really seen that happen where a girl comes in red shirts because she knows she's in for a few years, a few extra long years of studies and everything. But I know that option to stick around and be a GA for a couple more years while maintaining your master's is always a heavy option. And I mean you could go be a GA at the school that you didn't even play for. It's so many schools that are always looking for grad assistants. So. Mm-hmm.
Anthony says, what years were you at Fresno State?
I was there 2016 to 18.
All right. Jansen says, where are you at with this year's schedule? Supposed to start in less than 2 weeks.
The schedule is posted online. It should be posted, I believe. It is. Actually, yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually have our season opener next weekend at home. So
nice. All right. You guys ready to go? There is no softball. Now, speaking of that, so like what's the mindset of a college girl softball? Like, let's just say, I know you play, but let's just say the girls that you have right in Alabama State right now, what's their mindset? Is it just, hey, because college baseball, most guys is like, hey, we want to go pro, we're going to play and we here. What's the mindset of a college softball player?
It's a little different from baseball players because, like you said, they have pro. And for softball players, for majority of them, they know that this is kind of their last stop, so they give it their all, and they don't want to rush to their senior season. They want those 4 years to last, but truth be told, they go by so quick. I know mine did. But yeah, we kind of know that it's our last stop. So we have to give it our all. Like, this is kind of it. But I mean, there is pro softball. I know there's a new pro softball league besides the national teams. There's a new pro softball league. I think it's called AU Sports or something like that, where they're hosting all these professional teams for different sports. But majority of the time we know that this is it. So this is our last hoop, our last go raw.
All right, all those years of playing, huh? And then they need a bigger softball girls, softball pro league. I think that'd be dope, because I know plenty of y'all are not ready to hang it up when you guys have to. No.
No, none of us are ready to give it up. Not like that. I mean, you dedicate your whole life to it, and then you gotta let it go. It's like a kid with a toy. Like, I don't want to get rid of it, even though I'm about to be 15 years old. I like this toy, So, but I mean, it is what it is. It's just, I think it just gives us more leverage to be able to mature and find out what our true purpose in life is.
Facts. All right. So you're gonna play this year. You have. I lost my train of thought because I'm about to ask a question on this schedule in this season. But all right, yeah. So I'm gonna talk more about this school. I've had JV. I've had Coach Vasquez on. But for this girls softball that that will be listening in, the moms and dads. What is the price that what are the costs that are associated with going to Alabama State? All right, what's the cost to get into the school and all of that?
I believe for in-state students, it's not. Let's see. I know it's under. Are we talking like a specific amount, like as far as books and fees and tuition?
Yeah, in and out of state. Yeah, what I'm saying, for everything that the costs involved when it comes to going to Alabama State before scholarships and stuff like that.
Right. I believe it's anywhere from 15 to 20K for attending Alabama State. It might be even lower than that. I'm not 100% sure. I know the GPA requirements are around a 2.7 just to get in or just to get admitted. So yeah, that I know that's what it takes to at least get into the school, and you have to maintain at least a 2.5 average or 2.5 GPA when you become a student athlete to be able to be eligible for your season.
What are some of the, you have study hall requirements, you have tutors and stuff like that?
Yes. Yeah, there's always study hall for student athletes. Free tutoring is always available on campus. Now it's been more of a virtual thing with everything that's going on. Yeah, we have some girls who will admit, and then some girls who just kind of struggle in one or two classes, and we'll be like, okay, we're gonna up your study hall hours this week, see how you do on your upcoming tests or assignments. We may drop it back down. So that always fluctuates. And then we have girls who just know for a fact, in order for them to succeed, they have to have at least 8 hours of study hall a week. And that's just how it is for them to, really be on top of their studies and academics.
All right, cool. Speaking of camps, I know with the whole lot of COVID things, I want to make sure we kind of promote anything you guys may be having for softball, where you may be, what's your schedule looking like as far as like from the recruiting side, showcases, camps, anything you may be having, and then on the, camps, where you're going to be recruiting wise, and then I want to, if somebody wants to send film or something like that on their, their young daughter, how can they reach out to you? So go in that order.
So upcoming, we have, like I said before, we have our season opener next weekend, February 12th, Valentine's Day weekend. As far as camps, we weren't able to have camps or anything this year or this past fall, just Corona and everything. But this upcoming summer, we're looking to recruit a lot in the Atlanta, Florida, Texas areas. I know like in-person recruiting, but of course we're always doing virtual recruiting. If we see a girl on the West Coast or anywhere else that may be too far to go, or we have something else a little closer to us to recruit, we try to make it to. But yeah, next weekend, Montgomery, Alabama, we live.
All right. So baseball has perfect game. This is the perfect game. The PBRs when it comes to, making profiles for these, students or D Brown, for these college coaches, college coaches look and see about a particular player in Iowa, right? What type of platform, what type of, do they have for girls softball? Like, let's just say Savannah is 16 years old and she's grinding away and she's playing showcases, but what about that school in Oregon? How are they going to see Savannah?
So to my knowledge, there isn't really anything set up in softball I've always heard of perfect game growing up because I had friends who played travel baseball and they said, oh, I can hang out this weekend. I'm making my skills video with perfect game and we're doing this. I'm like, okay, cool. It's always kind of been something that we've had to do with our teams or our organizations like Atlanta Vipers, Georgia Impact, Texas Bombers. Those organizations have done a great job of being able to promote and get exposure for their girls by themselves. There's not really a company or organization such as Perfect Game in relevance to softball that really creates that exposure for recruiting and those type of tools and everything. So teams, organizations, travel ball teams, they do it all on their own. It's kind of like an independent thing.
Okay. Good to know. So listen, if I have a young daughter and I'm interested in Alabama State and I want to send some information to you, all right? Virtual recruiting. Where can I send it to? All right, where
Send it to our email addresses. Our email addresses are posted in our bios, which is on the roster on alabamastateathletics.com. And we're checking our emails daily. And going back to what we just talked about with recruiting and making those skills videos and getting that exposure, I've had a lot of girls who I've watched just done it on their own. Maybe they had their dad or their mom on the side recording with their phone or a camera, just taking reps. And I'm like, okay, wow. Like, that's how you do it. You're really eager to get out there and get that exposure. And we look at it. There's just no way to it. It's straight to the point. But yeah, our email addresses are posted in our bios and we're checking that 24/7.
All right. Yeah, I heard it here. All right. So anyway, Coach, if you could, I appreciate this. I'm learning and man, this is quite the learning lesson. And but if you could, I always have my guests take us out, man. So for that young, it could be the parents of a young girl or that young girl that's out there grinding in high school like you, trying to get that scholarship, to that school, D1, D2, D3, whatever, that they just want to play at the next level. What message do you have for them, Savannah?
I would just say to believe in yourself, for the players, for the parents, believe in your kids. It's a really long process, but it's all worth it in the end. Another message to the players: this game can offer you so much in life, so many skills, so many lessons. If you just allow it to, you can't sell yourself short. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, find something that you're really passionate about, because this game has a lot of opportunities that it can offer you if you allow it to. You can't, half butted or have, you can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It all has to be in. And like I said, it's a process. So going back to it, if you're a junior or senior in high school and you still have not found a place to play, do not give up. If it's something that you really want, create that exposure for yourself and make it happen. Just believe in yourself.
I love it. I love it. Good deal, Coach. I appreciate it. I thank you for your time. I thank you for teaching me and the listeners over here about that. I will be in contact with you. All right. I already know my boy JV down there, but definitely want to get into the softball side. You are my first one of 2021. So as a guest, and I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, coming on here, sharing a little love to these baseball parents and the few football parents that have been, hounding me for a year or so now. So you're helping me out with my listeners, and you know what I'm saying. So I appreciate that. So, parents, also for my listeners, Atlanta Showcase, February 21st, Sunday. All right, I switched it from 20th because I want to make sure that I don't conflict with any scheduling when the high school season as far as games and or practices. So February 21st, Peachtree City, Georgia, at Home Plate Baseball, nice turf field. We will be doing the TrackMan. We'll have college coaches there and pro scouts already lined up, and we'll be live streaming the showcases here to and you have, if you're good enough and we feel like we're going to dissect it, you have access to about 40, 50 coaches that will be either looking at the footage from the showcases and or on the live stream alone. So sign up for it. I'm giving this first week over here, I'm giving it a cheaper price than it will be in the next week and in the following week. So sign up now. Here's the showcase link right now. Again, college and pro scouts will be in attendance. I'm still lining up the colleges right now. We have an NI, JC, HBCU. We have two to three pro scouts there, and we'll be live streaming this. Okay, so and you'll be getting tracked from the TrackMan with the velos, the throwing, and everything. That was why I've been waiting on this, to promote it, to make sure that I get the analytics side. So sorry to be talking long-winded on this, but I finally got the link up, ready to go to sign up. You got less than 3 weeks to sign up for this. So if you're in the Atlanta area, come sign up, showcase, all right, as we build this out. And we're going to California next month, all right, in March. Anyway, my boy Rick Rock. Shout out to my boy Rick Rock, man. Good to see you, my brother, out there in Cali. His daughter on here too. All right, softball family through and through. All right, I'll be following the Alabama State, no doubt. Since on film, Rick Rock, how old is your daughter now? I mean, type that in, because like I said, she just had. I think she's between 13 and 15. I know she's definitely in between 13 and 15. I don't think she's older than that. But go ahead. I'm sure Savannah ain't gonna mind, because she could swing it from the left side, Coach. You know what I'm saying? She could swing it. I seen that stroke. So. Word. But anyway, I will yeah, she's 13. Okay, yeah, okay. All right. I knew she's somewhere in that 13 to 15-year-old range. So but anyway, Coach, I appreciate it. I thank you for taking out the time coming on here. Do you have any type of Twitter or any type of thing that you wouldn't mind, people maybe sending film or anything, or you just want to do the email side?
I do have a Twitter. It's SB Coach Sav. That's my at handle on Twitter. I'm not really on much else. Try to stay off social media.
Coach Sav, is it Coach Sav? Is it SAB?
It's SAB. So it's SB Coach and then Sav.
All right. And that's Twitter?
Yes.
All right, for y'all still listening, and this is.
Appreciate you for having me on, dropping a little bit of knowledge,
I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm gonna be in contact. Don't worry about it. I usually you my my first one of this year. I was gonna say guinea pig, but I don't want to disrespect but it's all good.
That's actually the perfect term for it because, like I said, this is like really my first full season that we're going into being a college softball coach. So maybe you'll have me back on. I'll be able to answer more of your questions a little bit more.
No, I know maybe you will be back on. We're gonna do this, and I got my ideas and stuff. Trust me, you're going to be hearing from me. Trust me. And that's how I develop relationships with coaches. That's what I did on the baseball side. You see me talking about all these 40, 50 coaches on the live stream. All of them pretty much been on my show, and that's why I developed a relationship, and now I help them with giving kids maximum exposure to these coaches. So you will be hearing from me.
All right.
We're going to be doing it on the girls softball side. Trust me on this. All right?
Sounds good. I'm going to make sure to tune in when you have the other coaches join in as well.
No doubt. And I appreciate you. So parents, tomorrow will be on at 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, will just be me. All right, we'll be getting this ball rolling. Again, DB Atlanta, showcase.com. I see you guys up there in Atlanta, February 21st. Coach Savannah. All right, Coach McHellon. All right, I appreciate you coming on here.
Just call me Coach Sav.
Coach Sav, I like that. All right, Coach Sav, Savage out here. You know what I'm saying? I like it. All right, Coach Sav. Let me see here. And the last one comment. Get her and the freshman on the show to let kids learn what to expect. Get her and the freshman. Who's the freshman? Who did I?
I guess any one of our freshmen, is that what he?
I guess. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. One of your freshmen on your team, I guess, you know?
Right. That would be good.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. That's a good idea. And maybe, especially when you guys are in your season, you could kind of talk about what's going on and give an update, what's going on in the season, your first year coaching. I think that'd be super dope,
For sure.
All right, cool. So 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Coach Sav, I appreciate you. Thank you for taking out the time. Parents, I'll see you guys 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Peace and love, y'all.